Today, we're diving into one of the most ambitious engineering projects happening on the planet right now. It's an incredible story of human ingenuity being pushed to its absolute limit by the harsh realities of nature. So, let's get right into it.
Okay, so picture this, a kingdom that's practically defined by oil and unbelievable wealth. You know, these shimmering, futuristic cities literally rising out of the sand. But behind that incredible image lies a really serious vulnerability.
Because that very same kingdom is now building its own river. Not a natural one, but a massive underground network of pipes that stretches for thousands and thousands of kilometers. And the scale of this thing, it's just mind-blowing.
So that's the big question, right? In a country with almost zero rain and not a single permanent natural river to its name, where on earth is all this water supposed to come from? Let's break down exactly how they're pulling this off. So first, you've got to understand the fundamental paradox of Saudi Arabia. I mean, it is the largest country in the entire world without a single permanent river. Think about that. About 98% of its land is just scorching desert. And this analogy just hits the nail on the head. It's a perfect image, right? You can have all the wealth in the world, but none of it matters when water becomes the ultimate currency for your survival. For decades, the kingdom actually had a solution, but it was a temporary fix with a ticking clock. They started tapping into these deep underground aquifers, which are huge reservoirs of something called fossil water, basically ancient water that's been trapped for millennia. And the problem is, just like oil, once you use it, it doesn't get replenished.
And you can see how this all played out on this timeline. It actually started with a really good intention. They wanted food self-sufficiency. But by 2016, the data from NASA satellites was undeniable. Their ancient water reserves were just disappearing, and at a truly alarming rate.
And here's the heart of the problem. At its peak, just one sector, agriculture, was drinking up 85% of all that water. It was completely and totally unsustainable. It got so bad the government had to pull the plug on the whole program just to save what little they had left for emergencies.
So this is the crucial takeaway here. Fossil water took millions of years to accumulate. Once it's gone, it is gone for good. They were quite literally draining their one and only savings account with absolutely no way to ever make another deposit. So, faced with this looming crisis, Saudi Arabia didn't just look for a new solution. No, they decided to engineer one on a scale that honestly seems to defy the laws of nature itself.
I mean, just try to wrap your head around that number for a second. 12,000 kilometers. That's a network of special anti-corrosion pipes, all buried to stop evaporation, stretching a distance that's longer than a flight from New York to Tokyo. It's wild.
And the volume of water is just as mind-boggling. We're talking 9.4 billion liters of fresh water. That's enough to fill nearly 4,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. And that's not the total. That's every single day.
But of course, a miracle like this requires a massive trade-off. Pushing that much water uphill and across a country demands an immense amount of power. Get this, a staggering 9% of the country's entire electricity output is used just for pumping this water. They are literally trading their most abundant resource, oil, which generates that power, for their most scarce and vital one, water.
So where does all this brand new water come from in the first place? Well, it comes from the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf. The answer lies in a technology called desalination, the process of turning salty seawater into fresh, drinkable water.
And there are two main ways they do it. The first, multi-stage distillation, is basically a massive, really sophisticated boiling process. The second method, reverse osmosis, is a bit more elegant. It uses super high pressure to force water through a membrane so fine that salt, minerals, even viruses just can't get through. It's become incredibly efficient.
And look, this isn't some science fiction concept for the future. This is the reality on the ground today. Desalination already provides 2/3 of all the water used in Saudi Arabia, which makes it the absolute lifeblood of the entire nation.
But as is so often the case with these huge technological solutions, solving one problem can sometimes create another. And this one, well, it's a big one, and it's hidden just beneath the surface of the sea.
So, what's the dark side of this water miracle? Well, think about it. When you pull all that fresh water out of seawater, what are you left with? An enormous amount of salt.
And I mean an enormous amount.
Every single day, the process creates 329,000 tons of this super salty, toxic sludge called brine. And all of that waste has to go somewhere. And somewhere means right back into the ocean.
And the effect of this is devastating. This brine, it's denser and hotter than regular seawater, so when it's dumped, it just sinks and blankets the ocean floor. It kills coral reefs and creates these huge dead zones where marine life simply cannot survive.
So the story isn't over. After creating a whole new environmental challenge for themselves, Saudi Arabia is now trying to do what it does best: engineer its way out of the problem once again.
They're developing these new systems to diffuse the brine over much larger areas to lessen the immediate impact. But the truly game-changing idea here is something called brine mining, a plan to actually extract valuable minerals from that toxic waste, effectively turning a pollutant into a profitable new resource. And if you want to know just how ambitious they are, this really says it all. In 2027, the nation with no natural rivers will host the World Water Forum. The country that almost ran out of water is now positioning itself to be a global leader in solving the problem. It's a pretty incredible turnaround.
And that's really the crucial question this entire project leaves us with, isn't it? Is this a story of humanity's ultimate triumph over its environment, or is it more of a cautionary tale, about how our brilliant solutions often create new, maybe even more complex problems down the line? Definitely something to think about.